In the repair shop today, the problems start multiplying when Steve takes on a mechanical calculator.
This looks so complex, it's almost like an enigma machine. I'm not sure whether I can actually do this.
While an antique bridal sees Suzie and Brenton in close collaboration.
Could you make me a new heart?
Oh.
Oh.
What's happened?
It's still very loose at the moment. Usually on a big wheel, you've got a lot of flex. So you can...
Oh, look, they're in now.
Oh.
But first, an item that's seen better days.
Wow. Can't believe it.
I'm Jay.
You all right? Nice to meet you.
Dom.
Hi, Dom. Nice to meet you.
Janette Drew and her mother, Margaret Murphy, have travelled from Lancashire.
Got something in a boot for us, didn't you?
We have, but I'm under no illusions here. This might be a bench too far, guys.
They're hoping metalwork expert Dominic Chinea
Should we get it inside and have a proper look at it?
can save a beloved bench that's sadly on its last legs.
Fragile thing, isn't it?
It used to be a nice bench. It used to be a wonderful bench, didn't it, Mum?
Many years ago.
Tell us about it then.
I remember it in the 50s when I first met my husband.
Okay.
In his mother's garden it was.
Oh, right.
And we were introduced and we went in the garden and sat on the bench. It was lovely.
So how old was you then?
16, sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Yeah, I fell for him, hook, line and sinker.
So this was your mother-in-law's bench?
Yes, after she died, the family home was sold and my husband wanted the bench. It was very sentimental.
He wanted something to remember her physically.
he did.
So we had a market garden at the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I worked there as well.
Yeah.
So this became our bagging bench.
Bagging.
So in Lancashire,
What's a bagging bench?
well, we grew tomatoes and lettuce. At 11 o'clock, you needed a break. You're mucked up to the eyeballs. You can't go in the house. You sit on the bench, have a brew, bit of toast, chill for about 10 minutes before you go back in. To do more work, yeah.
10 minutes?
10
Do you not get
minutes?
It's like working here. Yeah.
Don't you get a bagging break here?
No, get 11s. Get 11s. I think
I might
it's more...
try that actually, bagging break.
It's a 5-minute break. It's all about 5 minutes, not 10 minutes.
Yeah. So this became our bagging bench
Right.
for many years.
It did.
You know, and then Dad in 2002, it was just awful sad, wasn't it, Mum?
It was very sudden.
He just started with a bit of tiredness, and then within 4 weeks he died of cancer,
Yeah,
didn't he?
he did.
And you couldn't cope, could you?
I couldn't cope, no. I'm afraid it got a little bit neglected.
Yeah, so we just sort of put plant pots on it and thought about what we could do with it.
High danger there.
What would you like Dom to do to it? Because it
Oh.
looks...
Big question.
If we could just have the little white bench
Yeah,
back,
just a little white bench back.
that would be amazing.
The emotional attachment I can see is quite strong to this bench.
But it's not worth now, that's the thing.
It's not worth now, but it's the memories.
Yeah,
It's the
memories are priceless, aren't
So-
they?
Weird. For us, it's probably the most precious thing
It is,
we've
really.
got, really, from our past of Dad and Grandma. So to actually sit on it, you feel close, don't you, to the people that once sat on it,
Yeah.
that was so special to you. So it means a lot. Yeah.
It's been a real pleasure meeting you guys. Thank you for
you.
bringing the bench in.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
thanks, Jay.
All
Thanks,
right.
Dom. Cheers. Thank you.
You take care now.
Yeah.
See you
Okay.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I'll need it.
The last 10 years,
Yeah,
it's just been a sad bench. And to have that restored would be the best, absolutely the best.
I can picture me having a cup of tea on a lovely white bench.
Well, not. You know, they've not fixed it yet, Mum.
No.
So let's just give them a chance.
Yes, yeah.
They were so lovely.
They are. And the thing about it doesn't feel like he's 70 years old, or over 70 years.
Over 70 at least, yeah.
The only bit is that bit there.
Where that's obviously the plant pot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dripping on it. You need to be able to sit on it. No?
Yeah,
You can't have a
definitely.
bench in your garden and not be able to use it.
Not
so.
with just flower pots, no.
No. We can do better than that.
I think we can.
So I think first things first, take it all apart.
Okay.
I need to separate the wood from the metal. All the metalwork's going to have to be sandblasted, strip it right back so I know what we're working with, and then deal with the woodwork.
All right, let's get you started. There's a lot of work on.
Oh, is it not bagging break?
No.
No?
No.
The components that it's made of, this main support, is bog standard bits of angled steel with the ends chamfered off. To Janette and Margaret, this means so much more. Just because it's made of basic materials does not mean I'll be treating it any differently to the most elaborately, beautifully carved bench. It's still just as precious to me. So I'm going to cut all of these nuts and bolts off. They're all coach bolts, so they have like a square taper pushed into the wood. So by cutting off the nut, then I'm pushing the bolt out, should cause less damage as possible to the wood. Oh, that's a bit of give a bit of a fight, but that's it. That's off. This is in a real state. Look at that. There's no way this is going to be strong enough to sit on. Wouldn't even put a flower pot on top of this. This is the perfect candidate for sandblasting. It will expose any hidden horrors on the rest of the piece.
Next to the repair shop is Donald Creasy with daughter Becky and grandsons Sam and Joe. They're hoping Steve Fletcher's mechanical expertise might solve a tricky problem.
Hello.
Hi there.
I'm Steve. Who are you?
Sam.
Sam, hello, Sam.
Joe.
Joe, I tend to shake your hand there.
I'm Becky.
Becky.
Don.
Don, hi. And what have you brought us?
We have brought you a Triumphator calculator. It's a mechanical calculator that my dad used when he worked in a laboratory.
About 55 years ago.
Dad rescued it when they were chucking it out of the lab when the new calculators came in.
I just thought it was too nice a thing to be thrown out.
Were these all around the laboratory?
Now, as far as I know, that was the only one that was in the laboratory and people used to queue up.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Because today you get a calculator in your pocket.
Our first experience of an electronic calculator, we were gobsmacked. We thought it was absolutely marvellous, you know.
Yeah. Sam and Joe, this must be quite prehistoric to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granddad's brought it in a couple of times and we've seen it and compared it to modern day calculators.
Yes.
But we've never seen it working.
And have you tried to get it working or tried to play with it?
We tried to turn the handle, but
You haven't been able to?
no.
Okay. I've never worked on a calculator before, and if it's not working, I've got to work out why it's not working before I can do anything. So I might need a little instruction on the way of using it before I even try to take it apart and look at it.
You can't remember too much about using it.
Right, okay.
Strangely, 55 years or so
Yes.
does confuse you.
You didn't bring along the instruction book?
No,
obviously.
never. I would like to see an instruction.
I think if I take this apart, I might like to see an instruction book, actually. Thank you very much for bringing it in, and I'll see what I can do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
I think it's in very good hands, and if Steve can get it working again, we would be over the moon.
This looks so complex. It's almost like an enigma machine. It all just seems to be jammed up. None of these levers are working. And I do wonder what's actually happened to it to have made it jam up like it has. Right. It's a bit of a conundrum, actually, because I've got to work out how it works so that I can repair it. But I don't know what's wrong, so I don't know what to repair. Oh, this is really, really complex. Just move this lever up here and it's all just locked again in a different place. I'm not sure whether I can actually do this.
In the outdoor workshop, Dom has managed to completely take apart the crumbling garden bench and is trying to work out how much of the slatted wooden seat he can save.
How you doing, Dom?
Hey, Jay, you okay?
Got a delivery for you.
This is the little white bench all laid out. This is the one, obviously, we're going to be replacing.
Yeah, that one's gone. Yeah.
What do you think of this one?
Basically, water has got into that one, a bit like that.
It's soft, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just too soft. No, get rid of
Fine.
that one.
That one's gone.
This one's not too bad, but I think these are at the front, isn't they?
Yeah, this is the front one.
So we'll just replace all three of them.
Yeah.
These are the most important. This is where people are going to sit on the most, really.
Exactly.
Sit
And we
right
need
there.
it to last, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. Well, telling the truth, I thought this would be the case. So what I've got is some reclaimed pitch pine. Yes.
Enough to do all three?
Hopefully.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Is
Absolutely.
that cool?
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much, Jay.
No problem, Dom.
Rotten slats consigned to the chipper, Dom needs to make sure their replacements are comfortable enough to sit on.
My new piece is perfectly square. That's not going to work. That would really dig into the back of your leg. So I'm going to use a router to take off that top corner and just round it off, just to replicate the original piece as best I can. That is perfect. I'm chuffed with that. That is going to sit alongside all the original wood perfectly. Just need to spend a bit more time sanding it all down, then I can get ready for the primer.
The next arrivals are 13-year-old Ella Wools and her dad John from Gloucestershire. A unique piece of their heritage needs some serious TLC, and Master Saddler Suzie Fletcher is just the person for the job.
Hello, I'm Susie.
I'm John.
John, nice to meet you. Hi, Ella. Lovely to meet you. What have you brought me?
We brought you a bridal. It was made by my great grandfather.
He made it.
He made it.
The whole thing.
He made it by hand stitched everything.
Oh wow.
There's a few parts missing from it.
This is a lovely bridal. This is a farm bridal. I can tell you he's really skilled. He was a very good craftsman. There's some beautiful detailing that you don't always see. Do you know much about how he learned the art?
He learned his art in the army whilst he was in India. And then came back and opened a shop.
Okay.
He had a sad ending, really. I think 1929. His shop went into decline. His wife caught influenza. He caught influenza. And they both died, leaving 4 young children.
Oh, my word.
My grandmother being one of them. She was only 4 at the time.
So what on earth happened to her?
She went with her 3 siblings to an orphanage from there on. And then years later, somebody who owned this recognised the name on the front. He put his name, Alfred Wools, or A. Wools, from Bisley, and passed it on to my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
And this is all she had of her father, and it's come down to me.
Anyone else since then? Have they become saddlers or harness makers?
No, they haven't. But Ella and my wife, and they all ride horses.
Oh, excellent.
And I attempt.
Well done.
It was Ella's idea, get this restored.
So what would you like me to do to the bridal?
Just to see it how it once would have been, just to give it another life almost, so it doesn't deteriorate anymore. It's amazing on how all this intricate stitching can be done by hand, and how many he must have made for everybody in the village.
We'd like to display it on our houses as craftsmanship, really, from our ancestry.
It is probably too far gone to ever be used again, but I think it would be rather lovely to have it made up back to how it used to be, for you to be able to display. I look forward to working on it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Having something old that belongs to the family with our name on it means quite a lot to us. I really hope that Susie would be able to bring it back to its glory so that it can survive another 100 years, hopefully.
I really like this. This is so lovely. It's made to be used on the farm, so it's going to be working really hard. But he's chosen to do this lovely decorative edge instead of doing just a plain square. And there's so much about it. As a saddler, I worked on many sets of harness and had to make sets of harness. And when you look at somebody else's work, there are things that you can not only appreciate, but go, actually, I like that idea, and you can use it and keep that design going through all the generations, because that's the only way that we learn. And I came into the trade some 40-odd years ago, and I now am passing on my knowledge because we want to keep these old ways going and alive. I really feel privileged that I'm the person that's been given the challenge to do it. It has some pieces missing. The headpiece actually holds the bridle on the horse's head. And we do have some brass decoration missing. So I think I'm going to ask Brenton if perhaps he'll be able to make me up some replacements. Brenton, can I borrow you a minute?
Of course.
Just a person.
Could you make me a new heart?
Oh.
Aww.
What's happened?
Can you make me two?
Greedy.
So we have one that you could use as a template. But I've got another favour then.
Okay.
It's missing its diamonds. It had 2 diamonds here. Now, we don't have one of the originals.
But it's got to fit inside that stitching, where it used to live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one each side is needed.
Okay. And where do you want the clubs and spades?
Outside, new slats for the garden bench in hand, Dom's moved on to its metal leg struts. Back from the sandblasters, they're now free of 70 years of paint and rust.
All these holes are where the metal was so thin that it's just basically rusted away. The only real solution here is to cut it off and make a new piece to put in place so they're structurally sound. When cutting pieces off like this, I can't just weld on a new tube and hope for the best. I've got quite precise sort of like bolt holes that have to line up, and if I have one leg too long, the whole bench will end up wobbling around. So it's really important that what I put back on is the same as what I take off. I've noticed after drawing this that holding a ruler up to it is actually not straight. So the new piece that I'm going to make is going to bend from this point up. There's no going back once I cut this off. So I just wanted to make sure, double check that I've got everything that I can get from it before I slice it off. Bring this back. Now, this shows how important it is to make this little template, because I can sort of visualise and see exactly what I need to create. So the first thing to do is mark across where the bend's going to be, clamp that in the vise. I'm going to have to heat that area up, because when you're bending the tube, the outside needs to stretch, the inside needs to shrink, because it's quite a thick tube, so it's going to be a bit of a job to bend it.
Dom.
Jay, how's it going?
Very good. You need a hand.
That, you know what? It would be really helpful. I'm trying to bend this bit of tube. I'm just warming it up now.
I'm strong, Dom, but I ain't that strong.
I just need to put an ever so slight bend in it. Doesn't need a lot. Don't lean on it too much. We need to go slowly. See it getting red now.
It is getting red. Let's give it a go.
Get it. Wow. Whew. It has bent a bit. That's okay.
That's it?
That went then. That might be too much. So let me just get this cool, because that's really hot now.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was just going to go psh.
Well, no, I'm kind of being careful. I don't want it to do that.
Right. Oh, that has bent, isn't it? Look at that.
Bent. Now we can bring it over with everything crossed.
Oh, that is bang on. So all you've got to do now...
Weld that back in place.
Dom.
Good.
Nice one, mate.
Thank you for your help. I couldn't have done that without you. Thank you.
Dom's next step is restoring the bench to its original pristine white.
There's a lot of pieces to this bench. That's it, that's the first coat on all of the pieces now. I need to let that dry, go nice and hard, before I've got 2, maybe 3 more layers to go.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Having felt a little bit stumped by the mechanical calculator, things are finally beginning to add up for Steve.
I've been having a long, hard look at this, and I'm starting to get my head around it now. This top area here is obviously for setting the numbers, and then this lower part is for calculating it, I think. There's a lever under here that releases it. It's really quite stiff. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Oh, and the handle's turning, which means that it was being held up by something and maybe held up by this part. Got this lever here that I think should actually reset the numbers on top, and it's not resetting at all. I'm sure this has been dropped. There are things that are out of alignment, and I'm sure they're holding things up, which makes me think that this really has had quite a bump. And I think that is going to be the issue, is trying to get everything back into alignment.
The Triumphator calculator is a descendant of the revolutionary adding machines of the 1900s, which pioneered the use of a pinwheel cog with retractable teeth. It was the last of its kind to be used before the advent of modern calculators. But with the ability to display up to 10 digits and perform calculations into the millions, it can still rival its modern cousins.
There's a lever that I've decided to bend. It's quite a strong lever, but I think it must have been bent when it was dropped. That's the only thing I can think of now. It's a bit of a leap of faith. If it doesn't work, I've got to bend it back. I sometimes think when I'm doing jobs like this, it's a bit like being a surgeon. But then, I don't think a surgeon's job would be so trial and error. Ooh. Absolutely fantastic. Whew. I can't tell you how much of a relief that is. I was actually thinking of saying that I couldn't do this because it was so unknown to me. So I'm very, very happy.
With the reset device now working, Steve can apply some logic to the lower mechanism, which performs the calculations.
I'm sure that this spindle should turn when I pull this lever up, but it's absolutely rock solid. I'm actually going to take this plate off so that I can get hold of the shaft that's running through and then try and turn it. Once I start turning it, I'll see whether it should turn or not, because I don't know whether that's right or wrong. I'm going to pop some oil in all the places that I can see there are bearings. Well, let's try turning this. It's actually starting to move a bit easier now. It probably hasn't been oiled for decades. Actually, Donald said the last time he used it was 50 years ago, so why would they have oiled it? That's starting to become far more free. Good. Right. I think this is going to be a bit of a moment of truth. Right, let's try 250. Oh, that's working. That works. I'm going to try adding another 250, because that's easy sum. I know that'll be right if it's 500. That's right. Yes! It's working. I can't tell you how relieved I am.
At her bench, Susie's also coming on leaps and bounds with the 19th century leather bridle.
Now I'm just coming up to the end of cleaning and conditioning the bridle, and I have to say I'm really surprised at how nicely it's coming up, considering how dry and brittle it felt. Now we get to the fun time where I'm going to make some new pieces for this bridle, and just going to get my roll of leather. I'm just going to cut a strip off of this dark Havana bridle hide that I got in, and it really matches the driving bridle quite nicely, so I think this is going to be quite a nice match.
Across the barn, silversmith Brenton's replacing the bridle's handcrafted decorative brass studs.
Okay, so I'm just going to very, very gently bend up to the line that I've drawn. If you tried to bend the brass all in one piece, it would make a kink in the fold in it, and it has to be done really gently, slowly easing it round.
This is going to sit up over like this. Without the headpiece, the bridle's just not going to stay on. So now I have all those pieces cut, I'm going to take my edge tool and I'm take a very fine slither of leather off that cut edge, and it makes it more comfortable.
Careful staining and polishing means the new leather pieces will match the old.
Get it nice and shiny. But it seals all those and flattens down all those fibres. I do love leather and I do love tack. I love saddles and bridles. And yeah, it's a good job I became a saddler, really, isn't it? It is my forte. I mean, I'm just in my happy little world now.
In the outdoor workshop, Dom's now restored all the wood and metalwork of the garden bench, but a fiddly job remains.
Finally, time to put the bench back together. I've got everything laid out here, every nut and bolt washer, all the components, the slats, everything's here. It is now just a case of carefully putting everything back together, back in place where it should be.
Now this.
Hey, Jay.
It's looking amazing.
It's a bit shinier now, isn't it?
It's definitely a lot shinier. This is nice. And
thank you. Yeah.
To top it all off,
what have you got?
Look what I've got from the engravers.
Oh, you didn't?
Look at that. The bagging bench.
Wow, what a nice touch.
Can you put this on for us as well?
Yeah, no problem. Leave
Cheers
it with us.
for that, Dom. All
I
right,
can't
I'll leave
wait.
you to it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
After decades of exposure to the elements, this humble garden bench, where Janette's late father would take his tea breaks, was only fit for potted plants. Now it's ready for Janette and Mum Margaret to put back to its original use, with all its cherished memories.
And even though it was in a sorry state, we do miss the little bench, because it's part of us, isn't it, Mum? So hopefully they've done something nice with it.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Dom.
You okay? Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Hiya.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
How are you?
A bit nervous, a bit excited.
Do you want to have a look?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, look what they've written.
The bagging bench. Oh, isn't that amazing?
Oh,
Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh.
Because I've never seen the legs look like that.
No.
They're incredible.
No.
It's not just our bagging bench back, it's a new improved bagging bench. It just takes me back to when I was little.
Aww. Isn't that lovely?
She reminds me of Dad so much and Gran. Can't believe it. Oh, thanks, Don. Can we give you a hug?
Of course you can. I'm glad you like it.
That's amazing. Well
I'm glad
done.
you like it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful.
So does that mean that we can actually sit on it as
Yeah,
well?
of course you can.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Have a go. Oh, wow.
Have a seat.
It's a proper bench again. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. It's like keeping a bit of our family history alive.
Lovely.
Good.
Thank you so much. Can't believe what Dom's done to the bagging bench.
The bagging bench with that lovely plaque. Oh.
We'll be able to sit on it, have a cup of tea, and think of Dad and Gran and everyone else that used to sit on that bench. It's amazing. Won't have a plant pot anymore on it. It'll have a bottom.
No
Strong
plant
enough
pot.
to sit on. Can't believe it.
No plant pots allowed.
The restoration of the antique Bridal continues apace. Susie's finalising the replacement leather straps.
So what I'm going to do is just trim this throat lash to sit nicely at an angle in here. Pop this up in. Now I can just sew that securely in place.
Meanwhile, with the bridal's decorative brass hearts made, Brenton's moved on to the diamonds.
And this is much easier than the heart because it's got straight edges. This can be done much more quickly. So now that's bent to shape, I can solder the pins onto it. And it's the same way that the old diamonds were held on before they fell off. That's it, it's bonded.
So this is pretty much finished on this one side. Come back 2 stitches just to lock in the threads before we cut them off. One side sewn. I just have to sew this side and we are finished.
Over at his bench, Steve has really got the number of the mechanical calculator.
It is, Steve?
Yeah, really good.
You got it working?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a sum.
6,050 plus 3,000.
Okay.
Now that.
It's great, isn't it?
It is really cool. All right. Can you minus from there then, or do you have to do a whole new
Yeah,
sum?
I can minus 3,000.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're going backwards for minus,
Yeah.
forwards for plus.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how's it do times table then? What, you pull it out or something?
Right. No, this is more complex. If a watch beats 18,000 times an hour, okay, so there's 24 hours in a day. And that gives us the total there. 432,000.
This little thing is unbelievable.
Isn't that an amazing machine?
It's an amazing machine, but what I'm more amazed at is how did you figure out to do this?
Do you know, I just had to get in the zone, and it took me ages to figure it out.
My brain is just like fried. There's a little bit of smoke just went up. I need to sit down. It's too much.
When Donald and family brought the mechanical calculator in to be repaired, it was completely jammed up and hadn't performed a calculation in decades. They've returned, keen to see if Steve's been able to get it up and running again.
I think it would be really great to see the calculator working again because it's been in my dad's garage for so many years, and it'll, just be really pleasing to actually see what it does.
I'm looking forward to it, and I really will be fascinated if I can use it. Might even have races against the electronic calculators.
Hello.
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 How are we doing? You okay?
Very well.
Hello.
That's good.
Very well.
So, are you looking forward to this?
I am indeed.
Steve's been working hard on this one, trying to figure it out.
It was more difficult than you expected.
A lot more difficult.
Really?
Yep.
I must say, we have been excited to show you guys.
I'm very, very excited because, I'm going to wait until you
You
see.
feel you've won a battle?
Yes. Yeah.
Should we show?
Okay.
All right.
Wow. It looks like a new one.
Well, Steve is a true wizard, and he showed me a couple of sums on this. Do you want to see it working?
Yes, please.
Yeah? Do you remember how to do any sums on this then?
No, I don't think I can now.
You can't now, no?
Just do one, Steve. Do one.
I'll do a simple multiplication. Give me a number.
87.
Bigger.
1,000.
And
400.
400.
Times by what number?
6.
1,400 times by 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8,400.
Ah.
That's quite cool, isn't it?
That handle, we've never seen that going round, have we?
No. Well, marvellous. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I hope you have years of fun with it, and you can do all your homework with it without pressing any buttons.
I don't know whether I'll use it for my homework, but
Okay.
I want to try some complex sums on it when we get back.
And yourself?
I don't think I'll be bringing it into school. But I might try doing some of my homework on it.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Cool. Well, thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It's been a great pleasure to work on, and I've learned so much. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care now.
All right. Bye-bye now.
You.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well done. Eh?
Yeah, it was good.
They're happy.
Yeah.
It's brilliant to get the calculator back and to actually see that handle going round.
It takes me back about 60 years. Nostalgic. It really brings back my youth.
Inside the barn, Susie is nearing completion of the leather work on the antique bridal.
Yeah, one keeper in place. And that's not going to go anywhere.
Got a present for you.
Yep, we got.
I got a heart.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of diamonds as well.
Oh my goodness, Brenton did an
He has done
amazing
a brilliant
job. Wow. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
right?
look who's talking. Look at this. Look what you've done. Hey?
Well,
Come on.
it's teamwork. It is teamwork.
It does
So,
make the dream work. Look at this. This is gorgeous. So what else have you got left to do then?
Literally, I just need to mount these onto the bridle and put everything together, and we're good to go.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can get John and Ola to come back in, yeah?
That would be super. Yeah.
All right. No
All right.
problem. I'll
Thanks
sort
so
that
much.
out. No problem.
This unique handcrafted bridal had long run its final course, but John and daughter Ella hope it can now stand testament to the incredible skills of their ancestor, the Master Saddler.
The bridal is part of our family history, so really excited to come here today and collect it. I can't wait to see what the repair looks like and how it actually would have looked like when it was originally made by my great-grandfather.
Hello. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
Cool. Come on in.
Hey, Ella. It's good to see you again. How are you?
Good.
So you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
How do you feel, Ella? Because you're the reason why this is here, aren't you?
Yeah. Excited to see how it looks.
It'd just be nice to see something that we can display and show, really.
You ready to see?
I am, yes. Very much
Do you reckon,
so.
Susie?
Let's just do it. Let's do it. Okay.
It's lovely. It really is quite impressive. And here as well. Oh, that's pretty.
It's amazing. That's really good.
All the bits of brass work about it.
You're smiling, Ella. That must be a good sign.
Yeah.
I never knew him, so to see something like that, it's amazing.
So what do you think Nan would make of this now, then?
She'd been amazed to see it in this condition and whole again.
The fact that it could have just be lost forever, couldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that
it
kind
could have been
gesture.
thrown away or at any point.
So, Susie, do you want to hand over the reins?
Oh, nice one.
But there you go.
There you go, Ella. With pleasure.
And thank you for bringing
Thank you
it
very
in.
much.
Okay.
Thank
you very much.
Thank
it's amazing.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Oh, it's great being reunited with the Bridal, and the restoration is so in keeping with how it would have looked the day it came off its horse.
It's quite amazing to see it in this condition, how it's been brought back to how my great-great-grandfather would have made it and wanted it to look like.
I think my great-grandfather would be really happy to know it survived over 100 years. He'd be very proud, I think, of his work. I'm very proud of his work as well.